Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We begin tonight in Simsbury, where police are releasing new details on a tragic case of deadly domestic abuse. Thanks for joining us here on the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Sarah Sanchez. Police are accusing a man of stabbing his wife in the neck just before noon today. She survived as officers arrived on scene, but died after she was taken to the hospital. Police have identified the husband as Ding Sheng Lin. They believe the attack happened after a fight at the couple's home on Wildwood Drive. Officials were on scene for hours this afternoon. They're still piecing together exactly what happened, but say this is an isolated incident. And an update on a case we've been following for years now. A former high school teacher and golf coach from Vernon has pleaded guilty to charges related to child pornography. Christian Stevenson was found in possession of pictures and videos depicting underage girls back in October of 2021. Detectives say he was taking secret pictures of his students and stalking them on social media. Stevenson will be sentenced in June. He could face anywhere from 7 to 9 years in prison and 10 years probation. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank. It was an absolutely gorgeous Friday out there. Plenty of sunshine for everyone. Rachel, please tell me the weekend's going to be the same.
Not exactly the same, but still most of the time is looking pretty good. We're going to see a few more clouds tomorrow. Not that beautiful blue color to the sky, but overall it's still bright and trending warmer. Right now we're looking at temperatures in the upper 40s to around 50. This was a look at low temperatures this morning, and notice that most of the state, at least away from the shoreline, ended up dropping back near or even below freezing. I don't think it'll be quite as cold tonight, but still it's cool enough that the National Weather Service has issued a frost advisory for most of Connecticut, with the exception of the shoreline of Middlesex, New Haven, and Fairfield counties. If you haven't been protecting your plants the last few nights, I would say if they're still alive out there, you probably don't need to protect them tonight. But if you've been protecting them and you want to be better safe than sorry, once again, you might want to cover them up tonight. Temperatures right now are in the 40s to right around 50 degrees, and we're looking at overnight lows in the lower to middle 30s for most of the state, but upper 30s for Hartford and near 40 degrees for the New Haven area. Tomorrow looks really beautiful. We're going to start the day off with blue skies, temperatures in the 30s and 40s. By lunchtime, we're close to 60, and we're looking at high temperatures in the lower and middle 60s as we head through the afternoon, with increasing afternoon clouds. A few showers later tomorrow night, but not until after sunset. We'll talk more about timing and Sunday's weather coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. It was last night when we first brought you to Storrs campus as student protesters called on the University of Connecticut to cut ties with businesses that support the war in Gaza. Well, tonight, those students are still going strong. Fox 61's Emma Wolfhorst spent the day with them and spoke with the professors standing behind their message.
Yeah, we're here at the Dove Tower on Storrs campus. There's about 100 demonstrators back here breaking out in some chants. They've been here since yesterday evening, fluctuating in how many students and faculty are here, but they tell us they will stay out here holding this space for as long as they need to until university administration meets with them to go over their demands.
Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free.
The University of Connecticut joins the growing list of pro-Palestinian campus protests across the U.S.
We will not be leaving here until UConn severs ties with the war industry.
A call for the school to disclose and divest, a want shared by most of these student demonstrations around the country.
Their actions and their burying their hand in the sand and refusing to listen to us will not be tolerated.
At every rally, every event we host, people of all walks of life, of all ages, come together and fight for justice, because justice doesn't apply to one color of person.
These demonstrators say they plan on staying peacefully as long as it takes for the administration to acknowledge their demands. But some students on campus say the protests make them concerned for their well-being.
And we live on a public campus, like violence could happen, and that's what I'm most nervous for, is my safety.
Felgate says one of her professors canceled class Friday. She says it was the last review session before finals next week.
I'm up studying and I'm like, what are these kids doing? I mean, we're number 9 in the country and they're not taking their exams seriously. That's just mind-boggling to me.
But some faculty tell me they think it's important for teachers to stand in solidarity with these student demonstrators.
For me, it was a no-brainer that I would come out here and advocate for the safety of my students.
Newport says she's proud of her students for the way they're using this space on campus to take a stand.
There's very much a desire to protect the university as a place of exchange of ideas. This is at the core of our mission, and if we give that up, we lose our purpose.
And we've been out here since these students came out last night, and this is really only the second time I've heard chanting from this group. For the most part, they've stayed actually quite quiet, keeping this demonstration very peaceful, very calm. They say that's their goal here, is just to hold space and show their support for Palestine and for Gaza, and to keep their demands at the forefront. Now, I did reach out to UConn, a university spokesperson, tell me university operations will continue as normal. There's no word yet on whether or not they do plan on meeting with any of the student organizers to discuss their demands. Reporting in Stores, Emma Wolforst, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Students at UConn are hardly alone in voicing frustrations about the ongoing war in Gaza. Across the country, new demonstrations are cropping up at college campuses, big and small. Columbia students, who were the first to make national headlines for their encampment, are still going strong. At Arizona State, a group of tents is growing bigger at Old Main, but the school says they need to be taken down or protesters will risk expulsion. In Denver, 40 people were arrested at that Aurora campus after a clash with police. And a rare moment of unity in Washington, D.C., but politicians are not the ones coming together. It's students from American Georgetown and George Washington that came together on a joined front, demanding their schools separate themselves from companies supporting Israel's war efforts. Speaking of which, there's new information to share about the anticipated Israeli offensive into southern Gaza. Fox's Jeff Paul is in Tel Aviv with more.
A new satellite image appears to show construction of an aid port near Gaza City. The site will eventually be the home of a temporary U.S. military pier, similar to this one, that's currently being built miles offshore. As the war in Gaza continues, security concerns were heightened this week when the port came under fire during a mortar attack.
This occurred before any U.S. forces, have started moving anything. There'll be no U.S. forces on the ground.
All of this happening as Israel signals it's getting closer to a major ground operation in the southern city of Rafah. It's home to an estimated 1.3 million civilians seeking shelter from the war. Many are now forced to leave once again.
This is the third time we're relocating. There's no safety anywhere.
Tents are now going up a few miles north of Rafah in Deir al-Balah as civilians try to avoid the fighting.
We came here and there's been shelling. Several strikes last night, and they tell you it's a safe place. How is it a safe place?
Beyond Gaza's borders, tensions are running high throughout Israel. Crowds demonstrating in both Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, frustrated by a lack of progress on a hostage deal. Families of the 133 still missing, including 8 Americans, are pushing world leaders to do more.
So I ask everyone to bring back their focus to the release of the hostages, because that will also solve so many of the other issues.
President Biden's national security advisor Jake Sullivan said today he saw fresh momentum in ongoing hostage talks. However, Hamas says it will not back down from its demands of a permanent ceasefire and a full withdrawal of Israeli troops, something Israel has rejected. In Tel Aviv, Israel, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
New at 10 here, Connecticut chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations is calling out Bridgeport police. They're accusing the department of not responding to an emergency call fast enough. They say members in a mosque were targeted by a man in a work van who made threats towards them. They say it took 25 minutes for police to get there. We reached out to Bridgeport police, who say one person has been issued summons due to their comments, but it wasn't directed at the mosque, but at a person crossing the road. CARE Connecticut wants to meet with the mayor and chief of police to discuss the issue. Staying in the Park City, new video shows the moment a state trooper was hit by a car while conducting a traffic stop. This happened Monday morning on I-95 North. You can see Trooper Robert Coyne walking toward a parked Jeep. Honda Accord spins out of control, hits the guardrail, Jeep, and the trooper. Coyne and the Honda driver were taken to the hospital. The Jeep driver was not injured. The Honda driver is facing several charges. 3 teens are in big trouble in Deep River. They were caught on camera apparently vandalizing Valley Regional High School. Jonathan Gosnell, Henry Grabowski, and Mackie Olinger allegedly caused $20,000 worth of damages. You're looking at pictures from security cameras. Police say it shows the trio caught in the act. All 3 have been released on bond and are due in court next month. New at 10, state police canines have one more obstacle course to sharpen their skills, and they have an ambitious Boy Scout to thank for this. John Sleeman, an Eagle Scout candidate from Tolland, has been working on the course for the last 10 months. And today, state troopers, scout leaders, and his family all came together to celebrate its completion.
I've always loved the police and animals, and dogs specifically, and I wanted to do something big that would make an impact.
Well, it all started with him having to plan out his project and design it and work with Trooper Caliber to design and come up with what they wanted. And then he had to go research and collect pricing, and it was a long, long process.
Tolland is a really close-knit community for the most part here, and we're very lucky that we have a pretty thriving scouting community. We have a lot of kids that go through the Eagle Scout projects.
The new course is located at the Troop C Barracks. It replaces another course that canine handlers say was in disrepair. Now John will advance to the rank of Eagle Scout with his troop later this spring. Good.